Blog Talk Radio.
It seems like I got nothing to do. Hit up SimFBall Radio. I'm listening to one of the top podcasts, and they bringing you the real. And when they talk sports, it feels like you want to feel. From real talk to real sports, from Madden to 2K, just listen for one day. They'll grab you and you say it's on the net, man. Turn off your stereo, not music. I mess with SimFBall Radio.
All right, man. SimFBall Radio. Welcome back, everybody. Episode 45. That sounds crazy to even say that because we're marching up on the 50 mark. So that's cool, man. But before we even get started, shout out to Jive Turkey for blessing us with the intro. Got to always give him his thanks on that. It was time for another show, man. It's time to go ahead and get it going. We got some pretty good topics for you tonight. We also will have a special guest tonight from the Simulation Football League. So we'll explain a little more about that in just a moment. But before we get started, of course, we're going to go around, see how everyone is doing. And as of right now, it looks like Smitty is just on right now. Azure Fact, I'm sure, will be coming in later. But what's going on, Smitty, man? How's everything been going? How was your week?
Oh, everything good, man. Just ready to get in this new show here. You know what I'm saying? Definitely looking forward to it. Especially with talking about this Joe Montana. Got my man from the SFL calling in, you know what I'm saying? That's going to be pretty hot. So shout out to the Simulation Football League and Tag League or what have you. I definitely love what those guys are doing. Once again, being real creative, positive work in the sim football community. That's what I love. I love to see that kind of effort given. So shout out to them, no doubt.
Definitely, man. And Azure Fact, man, what's going on out there in Tennessee, man? How was your week?
Good, man. No quarrels here. Had a birthday yesterday, so celebrated that with the family and just, enjoying 60-degree weather. Surprisingly.
Yeah, man, nothing wrong with that. So yeah, man, of course, happy birthday. We told you yesterday, man, but we might as well make it official here online. Glad you had a good birthday and all that. Yeah, man. That's the one day that's important to everybody. That's the only day that you own, so to speak, is your birthday. But yeah, man, as far as me, it's funny how you say you enjoying the 60-degree weather. Here it is, the first day of spring tomorrow, and they calling for 3 to 6 inches of snow. I'm sick and tired of this cold weather, man. Most of the time, I don't even complain about the winter. The winter is not too bad for me. I like snow because sometimes it does give you the day off. But this winter has just been nagging. We got that one big snow, but the rest of them was just like little ice storms. I'm a little tired of it now, man. So that's crazy how on one end you can enjoy your 60 degrees, and then on my end I got to be waiting for this little snowstorm that's going to come through. But anyway, man, let's go ahead and get on to the topics. We probably want to jump into some of these topics real soon because like Smitty said a little earlier, we do have a guest that's coming in on the show tonight. So that is going to be one of the topics, the Simulation Football League. I don't know if everyone is aware of that. We have, his name is Cameron Irvine. He is the commissioner as well as he's the actual commentator for those games. And, I was introduced to it last Sunday, and I got to tell you, I enjoyed it, man. It sounded very good as far as the commentary. And I just like, what they got going on. And I'm going to hold off on giving too much information because I want him to come on and give all the information, all of his contacts and all of that. So we'll definitely talk about that. And like Smitty said, we'll talk about how, that's the way that you want to support the community. Do something productive instead of always being, and I don't want to say negative because negativity sometimes can be criticism. But instead of, bickering and attacking people, do something like that. Let these companies know that they have a community. That's the way that you get heard. So we'll definitely talk about that. I believe he's going to call in at about 8:30, so we'll try to, wait until he comes in to do that. But we definitely want to talk about Joe Montana, man. I mean, it seems like we've been talking about it for a few, weeks or so now, but there's new speculation now. we saw the new screenshot, so we definitely want to go around and discuss how we feel about the screenshot. Does it tell anything? Does it confirm a console game? The fact that it doesn't appear to have NFL licensing, does that matter? Or, does the screenshot actually confirm that? And we'll just, basically talk about Joe Montana in general and what we think that game can be and what it could do or what have you. And then the last thing we'll talk about, man, before we open it up to the callers, we want to kind of talk about the community. And, certain community members, this is almost like we're dumbing down our expectations for Joe Montana football. I'm hearing a lot of people that are saying they don't want the license, and to be honest, I understand what the point they're making as far as not having the NFL restriction. But we're going to discuss that as well, because you got to remember, guys. I mean, they're going against a giant. We have two examples of this situation. You got All-Pro Football, you got Backbreaker. Neither one of them had an NFL license, and look what happened. So we're going to talk about that, man. I think the license is critical, but, I'll hold off until we get into that part of the show to go into detail. But let's go ahead and get started, man. Like I said, I'll keep my eye on the clock. So when Cameron comes in, we'll bring him on in the show. But Smitty, man, we got a screenshot. What does that tell you? Does it give you any more confidence? Does it sway your opinion anyway? Or, how do you feel, man? Are you leaning more towards Joe Montana right now? And what did you think when you saw that screenshot?
I mean, when I saw the screenshot, I mean, it looked nice, but it, once again, like I said in the video I did about it, all I got from it was just that it has motion blur. You know what I'm saying? That's it. So otherwise, I need raw gameplay, like I've been saying. I need a press release telling what platforms this game is on, and I need raw gameplay trailer. I don't need no sizzle trailer, because we understand that's what they're gonna do. We know there's gonna be a sizzle trailer, because that's what you got to do. You got to make the game look good. So of course they're gonna do that. But what I'm saying though is we need to see some raw gameplay. And I mean, with E3 approaching steadily, I think that's going to be the platform they're going to use, because at least that would be the wisest to me. If anything, showcase a preview of a trailer like what Tiger Woods, well, not Tiger Woods now it's Rory McIlroy, you know what I'm saying, that PGA Tour. They just hit you with a little snippet, and that's it. So we know that, especially if the game's supposed to be coming out in June, they're going to hit us with a lot more detail, especially during E3. Just like what happened with EA with the UFC joint. Same kind of deal. It's going to be similar in that nature. Because as we recall, Sim and I, we was both at E3 last year, and they shown the PGA Tour golf trailer. So that was a little teaser that we had, you know what I'm saying? And we knew it was powered by Frostbite. So now that's what I'm saying. It's going to be interesting, to see how they're going to go about marketing this game in terms of the whole media aspect. Because typically all these games don't market until until 11:59. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't shock me at all if this game is slated to come out in July, like that OS post said, it wouldn't surprise me. But like I said, overall though, as far as the screenshot is concerned, it doesn't mean anything. Don't know what build it's from. Don't know if it's ripped straight from the trailer or not. We don't have any idea in terms of any of that stuff. So, people could put weight on that screenshot as much as they want. And the thing is, we still don't know. We don't know if this game still is NFL licensed or not. They could just be feeding you that screenshot just because and hit you later with actual NFL teams. So who knows? No, but that's my take on it, though. So.
AZ, man, I know you got an interesting take on it. What do you think about this screenshot, man?
I don't know, man, because some of what you said in your video and what Smitty said in his video, I feel the same way about. But at the same time, man, because one of the key points you said was in your video, Sim, was the NFL license and that post that the OS person made saying that it was an NFL game, and it comes out, and then the screenshot does not contain anything like that. And then you have people taking up for it, saying it's an alpha build and all that kind of stuff. I disagree, like you, with how they're marketing the game. And you're setting yourself up for failure. Well, not as much success as you could have by the way you're marketing the game right now. Depending on when it comes out, and I looked at the Unreal Engine, and who knows how it's going to deal with a football game. But just in that screenshot, man, you know, people harp on Madden for still screenshot of linemen doing stuff crazy. What was the defensive lineman doing? Why would you show a defensive lineman tripping in a screenshot? Then you got, you know, the aesthetic negative of everybody having cut up arms, and are they going to be backbreaker player models where everybody's the same height and all this kind of stuff. So, and that's just aesthetic stuff. I mean, if the game plays great, you know that the Sim Standard is going to be playing it because we gave backbreaker a chance. And I'm willing to give Joe Montana a chance, but not announcing what console, I mean, you know, if it's console or if it's a PC or what platform, that's a negative, as well as just the way it's being marketed right now. I disagree with the whole scheme, and hopefully, you know, as we come around to E3 and more news comes out, that we get more information. But right now, that screenshot does. I need to see gameplay. You know, I need to see how it moves, because people are getting hyped up, and that OS post hyped everybody up, but some of that has now been debunked. And you wonder, how good does the game play? So that's why I said when I saw it, I need to see gameplay. Forget screenshots. So we'll see what they do in the next couple of months, but I'm not very impressed with the screenshot. Like Smitty said, all it really tells you is motion blur, and Joe Montana has been in the weight room.
Yeah, that's very funny, man. It's one of those things, like, how many times has everyone in this community said how good Madden looks in a still shot? And it seems like for some reason, like, you know, I just watch the community, man. It's funny because I'm one of those guys that I might not say much, but I see everything. You know, I've always been like that. You know, certain things I don't see because I ain't really got no interest in certain things. So I might not see every single thing. But if it's a relative community where I am, I notice what people are doing. And I see a lot of people, like, going in on the screenshot and heavily favoring the screenshot. Like, oh, the game looks amazing. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at that. And I'm like, okay, what are you looking at? Because I can show you a screenshot of Madden right now that blows that screenshot out the water. Let's just be honest for a minute. And we all know that in motion, Madden is not the prettiest game. That's probably one of Madden's biggest problems, is the way it moves. Outside of everything else that it lacks, the movement in Madden alone is frustrating, you know, across the board. If you're not controlling that player, that's one of the biggest problems I know here at the Sim Standard that we complain about, is the way it moves and the fluidity. But I could throw a screenshot on you and you'd be like, man, that looks amazing. So you're kind of missing me a little bit when you're overly praising this screenshot. It's like Azul and Smitty said. We should be at a point now in this community where we all have to see gameplay, whatever game it is. You know, even if we're talking about Madden 16 or FIFA 16 or MLB The Show 15, NBA 2K 16, any of these games, we should be at a point where we all have to see gameplay. There should never be a screenshot or a sizzle trailer that decides for you what you're going to do with this game. Are you going to buy it or not? And that's all I would have to say, man. Yeah, it's like...
Yeah, it's being too desperate. Like you're going and you're saying, like, And some people are saying that, yo, the animation fidelity is going to be crazy. How do you know that? Off of that screenshot.
How do you know?
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you know that based off of, even from that Unreal trailer that was put out there, like, how do you even know even from that? We still don't know how this game is going to run off of it. You know what I'm saying?
I have no idea.
And one other thing, too, TJ Lauerman, dude that put out that Joe Montana still with the 2K logo in it, he posted a screenshot that shown similar on-field positioning and everything using Madden 15. And the shot looked nice. Just like what you said, Tim. Like, I mean, it had RG3 doing the same kind of, it wasn't the exact same, but it was similar QB drop back motion, just like Montana, with O and D line interactivity going on in the backfield that you could question about. Same kind of scenario, and it looked nice. So it's like, to make that kind of buzz over a still shot, like we don't know. We don't know. And this is the thing, like, now, we're not saying at this point with that still shot that this game is going to be just on mobile platform, but there are mobile games that are using Unreal 4. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not saying this game is based off of that still, but I'm just saying, like, some people are like, oh, there's no way that's possible. Like, it's possible. It is possible. So don't just say it's just not possible. Like, it is. So we still have to see the details. And that's the main thing people, like, we should really be questioning that. Why haven't you told us a platform? You should be telling people what platforms this game is going to be on. Why haven't you said it? Other than just Damon just slipping out there, oh, it's on PC. If you didn't catch the tweet, you never would have knew. There's people out here right now that don't even know what platform it's on. See what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like we just going to slip it out the back door. Hey, by the way, it's on PC. Like, no, we need to know what platforms this game is going to be on. Like, straight up.
That's not good. Yeah, man. It's just like we all been saying. Like Azur said, he agrees with my point that I said. I see some people say they prefer the way they're marketing. Man, I got to disagree with that. It's just my opinion. It's like I said, man, if you're going against a giant, whether people want to admit to it or not, you're going against a giant in EA Sports and Madden. Madden is the predominant football game. It's the only game. And guess what? What people are not, really paying attention to. The sales have actually gone up. Madden is doing better, which means that in the eyes of a lot of people, it's becoming a better game. So knowing that, you need to put your name out there. You need to be, less secretive and more, hey, we coming too. We might not take down. Think about what Backbreaker did. Now, people can argue, the game didn't sell that well, but why was everybody on them so much? Because from the jump, they were saying, look, we ain't going to be Madden. We just trying to show you a different side of things, da-da-da-da. They was open and honest for a long time before the game came out. You knew what platform it was on. They even went so far as telling you that, this is going to be a combination between simulation and arcade. Told you everything. Showed you all kinds of gameplay footage. If you're Joe Montana and you really want to compete, you must know that you have to do that. Because one thing that we're forgetting, some of the community members, we are a very small community. Like, our little numbers, the simulation guys, we're not going to make that much of a difference. They need to be trying to attract those people who love MUT players, and all of that. Maybe you could trick them into buying both games. So for you to not even, let alone you haven't shown us anything, but for you to not even confirm the platform, that's not good, man. That's just my opinion. But, in terms of the screenshot, the same thing you guys said, man. It didn't really show us much. What it did show for me is I'm excited to know, okay, this is a real game now. I can say that. But that's all I can pull from that screenshot. And one thing I didn't like, and, Azur already mentioned it, I didn't like everybody's arms being cut up. And see, that's another thing. These are things that we criticized Madden for in the past. But it seems like nobody's pointing this stuff out. And I understand, you just want something different. Don't get me wrong. We all want competition, but guys, if we're not going to be as critical with all of these games, even outside of football, if you're not going to be critical on these games, like, what are you doing it for? We have to still critique everything. So if they continue, if they stay around, then, they have a chance. But I don't know, man. I guess, man, we could. That kind of leads me into the next topic, man, real quick. Before Cameron comes in, it's like the community members, man. They're kind of dumbing down their expectations. With saying that they don't want the license, and they want it to be heavily focused on PC and things like that, which is nothing wrong with that. I'm not a PC gamer, so I can't have an opinion on that one way or another. But again, I would have to disagree with not wanting this game to have an NFL license. Not because of the restrictions. I understand your point that the NFL could, have a lot of restrictions on certain things you can't do because the NFL doesn't necessarily want to see that in their product. But we have to think in terms of business. If the NFL is not involved in this game, it's not going to sell. I mean, regardless of how well we customize it, and there's guys in the community that do a great job. What BB Highlights and those guys did with Backbreaker and, rosters, people like our boy Neff and all these other guys. But let's be honest. Again, that's a small community. I mean, you got to keep it real. Even if this game is phenomenal, the fact that the NFL shield isn't on it would hurt it, because there's not going to be enough people that will take notice to the game for it to sell very well. And I know some people might say, oh, well, they know that going in. Let me tell you something, man. A business is a business. They're not going to stick around if they can't sell units and they can't make money versus losing money. I don't care what company it is.
That's why
they don't love us that much.
Expectations are as far as, what they're trying to do. Because to be honest, I mean, if they set a goal of, hey, we're going to see if we can eclipse 100,000 units without the NFL license and see what the feedback is, then that's different. As opposed to saying we're going to go after Madden. Because honestly, you can't reach that. You can't reach that audience without the license. But what you can do if you have realistic expectations is set a goal of we're going to sell 100,000 units. Or what did All Pro Football do? What?
400,000. That's between both consoles. 400.
Yeah, so they did 400,000, and that was without social media. It wasn't as prevalent as it is now. That was a different time, correct. So, at the unrest with Madden was still there. And so, you still had that situation that is, there. But I think it's up to their expectations of what they have as realistically sales goals. Especially, excuse my co-host, especially if it's on console. So we'll see, what they think is, like I said, we need more details, man. All this trickling information and stuff out, I don't like. We need some more information, honestly.
And you know what else, man, before I throw it to Smitty? Another thing that might hurt it is, believe it or not, if it is exclusive to just the Xbox One and PC, that could definitely hurt it as far as sales. Because, again, man, our community is strong as far as our support. There's a lot of us out here saying, oh, if it comes out, I'm going to get an Xbox One. We will do that. But will the masses do that? Once again, when you got the giant already out there, think about it. The average person, I mean, you can go ask a few of your friends right now, because I'm pretty confident about this statement. All of us have friends that don't care about all that. I'm sure all of us know somebody, whether it's a dude at work, somebody we grew up with, or whatever, that you can go ask right now, yo, what's up with that Madden? And they're going to be like, oh, I love that. I love Madden. I challenge all of y'all to do that. I'm very sure we know those people. Might even be your best friend. So do you think he's going to buy a console for this unknown game or a PC, which is more money than a console?
A lot more money.
Real, from what I'm learning about PC gaming, I'm just saying, man, we got to look at it from a realistic standpoint. Now, if it has the NFL license, then we talking about 2K5 versus Madden 05. Now we in the ballpark. So that's what I mean when I say kind of dumbing down the expectations, man. Like we can't start making these, our own things that we want. Because again, you got to remember, this game will need to compete monetarily in order for the company to feel like it's a purpose for them to keep on making the game. So that's why I want this game to be exactly what this guy said on the OS post. That would make my day. But we still gotta wait, man. We just don't know, and that's the thing. We just don't know. Smitty, man, how do you feel, man? Are some of us, are we letting down our expectations and trying to be heavily favored for this game, or what are we doing?
Well, I think that's part of it. That's a big part of it, because you got to understand, and I mean, I know it's approaching that time frame when my man's gonna call in. So if I don't get to make the whole point, I'll make it after the fact. But because there's a little bit of depth to it, especially when you're talking about the PC gaming bit. But I'll just speak on the console bit. I was on Twitter earlier today, and it's a primary example. I had a guy that he's called the show before. I don't remember his name, but he was basically saying when he got his PS4, he traded in all his PS3 stuff to get PS4. And he's like, I don't have the money to jump out and get a PC, to drop $500-$600 or whatever to get a gaming PC. Nor is he gonna go ahead and purchase an Xbox One to just get this game if this is the case. And he's one person. Now, I didn't heard it from at least two other people on Twitter. So this is just on the Twitter spot. That, oh man, I ain't about to do all that. I ain't about to get no console. I'm not about to do all that stuff. So you have a good number of people right now that are saying this game needs to come out on console. It needs to come out on all the platforms. Because what they're going to end up doing, like you said, Sim, yourself, you said that, and it's true. Casual, typical fans, they're going to look and see Madden. Shoot, I already got the console at home. I'm good. I'm going to buy that. I just need to wait, another month and a half or two? I'm good. Let me get that. There's not going to be no incentive for them to jump out and buy a whole console just for one game, because that's going to be crazy. They're not going to do that. And the other thing is, yes, you have the modding scene and you have, customization. That's the other thing that Damon and the devs are going to have to do. They're going to have to do something like what NCAA did, have a team builder feature where everybody can just go online, get as creative as they want, have templates available, but they can add whatever photos they want and just spit them accordingly, and then download that into your game and make the roster that way. Because if you don't have something like that where the advantage is going to be fair for both PC as well as console, it's already, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's going to be an issue. To an extent, it's going to be an issue because you're going to have people that are on PC that are going to be able to do stuff that consoles they're just not going to be able to. But when they realize what kind of price tag they got to pay for to get it, they're going to be like, man, bump that. I ain't about to pay that money for that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I've seen somebody today, they're about to get this graphics card called the Titan X. It's just a graphics card. That's just one component of a PC for gaming. Card alone costs $1,000. We ain't even talking about the case you got to house it in, the motherboard, the chips, the RAM, the hard drive, the disk drive. We ain't even talk about all that. What monitor you playing on? You gonna maximize on that too? That's even more money you talking. So you're talking about paying a few grand for one game. Potentially you could. But ain't nobody about to, that's what I'm saying. When you truly look at the cost, it's not the same. And that's just one level. We didn't even talk about the whole depth of everything, like as far as being able to upscale and run it at the highest settings possible. You can't buy a PC for $300 or $400 and be able to upscale it and play these games at the quality you get on console right now. If you do that, you may mess around and fry your computer. Like at some point, it's going to fry out on you for paying just that bare minimum amount of money, because you're not going to be able to run everything at the highest setting. That's why consoles are at a premium. We're getting these consoles at a premium. The technology they have in them, for them to be able to rival a PC like that, we're getting that at a premium. We paid $400 for a console that if we were to build a PC to rival or beat it, you're talking about paying at least $700. So, and I'm just saying, if you custom build it yourself, $700. So you're getting a deal. It's just like, and I'll end it with this point for now, because I don't want to, like I said, in case my man calls in. PS3, when that came out, when that first came out, that was at the beginning when Blu-rays were brand new and everything. A standalone Blu-ray player back then cost $1,000 plus, just for a Blu-ray player. PS4 was $500-600 at launch. So you see, you got a few $100 difference, but you could do more than just play Blu-rays on it. You could play games on it, you could surf web, you could do all this other stuff. That's why Sony was in the negative for such a long time when PS3's first launched, because that technology was expensive for that time, and they're giving it to us at a premium. You know what I'm saying? Basically at a discounted rate. So when you look at how gaming is right now, and you say when you see statements say things like, "Well, people dropped all this money for a console in one game," yeah, that happened. But at the same time, they bought that console for other games. PCs are predominantly ran. Yeah, the PC gaming scene has blew up, but it's predominantly ran by first-person shooters and RPGs and adventure and strategy games. Sports is a minority. So don't get it twisted. When you see videos by Shady and stuff like that, that's the minority right there. That's not the majority. People that play Madden 08 on PC, that's such a minority crowd, it ain't even funny. So, but I'll stop it at that for now, though. You know what I'm saying? So my man call in. But that's just a little something to think about when it comes to this game. So that's why it's imperative, extremely imperative, that this game comes out on both consoles. So I'll pass it back to you, Tim.
Yeah, man, right on time. I see we do got Mr. Cameron Irvine, and I hope I'm saying his name correctly. If I'm not, please correct me when you get on. But again, guys, he is with the Simulation Football League. And like I said, I'm going to leave it at that. I want him to explain to you guys exactly what he's doing, give you all his contact information. But, it was definitely enjoyable to watch. So let me go ahead and bring him on. He's area code 210. All right, 210. Is this Cameron? Are you on?
I believe so. Am I?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, then I am. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. Hey, I like Smitty's rant too. He's totally on point.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it.
Smitty is good with that. So, hey, man. I definitely want to give you the floor. I mean, I told the guys earlier in the show, I didn't want to say too much because I want you to explain to everyone exactly what you guys are doing, what SFL is about, give them all of your contact information. So you got the floor, man. Go ahead and let us know what's going on.
Well, I'll just start with what we're about, just in case people listening have no idea what you guys have been alluding to in the first half hour. But basically, the Simulation Football League is a product that we try to make as the most unique experience you can have in sports gaming on the internet. And what you're able to do as an owner in this league, which not not many people get to be an owner in this league just because of the way it's set up and the level of detail that goes into each team. But as an owner in this league, you get to, you basically get the keys to the car. You build your professional football franchise. You do it your way, and you try to win a title in doing so. You start with, where am I going to put my team? What are they going to look like? What logo from All Pro, which is the game that we use. What are we going to look like? What are we going to be about? What type of players do we want to bring in, star players, and put them on the roster? How much money do we want to pay these guys? We only have $45 million to do it. Who are we going to give the money to? How are we going to keep them happy? What plays am I going to run? All Pro with its brilliant, which I think, in my opinion, is the best part about All Pro. It was the custom playbook feature that they put in there, where you start from 0 plays, and you can have thousands and thousands of plays if you wanted to. What type of plays do I want my guys to run on game day? Set all that up, and then what happens, which makes it the most different from anything else out there, in my opinion, is you set all that up, you get ready to go on game day, and instead of picking up a controller and sweating over the fact that your B button sticks or triangle is broken off your golly, I just totally went blank, controller. You sit there and have a beer on the couch and put the game in full screen and watch your team like you would watch the Pittsburgh Steelers or my Green Bay Packers or anybody on NFL Sunday, and we give you the tools and we give you the platform to make that vision a reality, and we try to bring that to life and as real as possible, the best we can, and All Pro does the best job of doing that. They clearly have shown over the course of our history that they have the best AI versus AI intelligence that's ever been put in a football video game, and we're proud to be on that level and have that platform and be able to bring that to people, to owners, to coaches, to fans, to anyone who wants to listen. That's what we're all about. So, I'm sure you guys have questions for me. I don't want to ramble on. Shoot, what's on your mind?
First thing I would say myself is, man, I wish I would have known about it a little sooner. The first time I saw it was Sunday, and I was captivated. I loved it. And, I immediately kind of figured out what you all were doing when I noticed it was CPU versus CPU, but it was great. And I really loved the commentary more than anything else. I really enjoyed it, man. And I'm just curious. I have a quick question, and I'll throw it to Smitty. How long have you all been doing this?
Well, it's an interesting story. Back in October 2009, I started developing an idea for and it all the idea stemmed from the fact that I had a PlayStation and my best friend had an Xbox, and when you have different consoles, you can't play each other online. You either, you got to go over to the other person's house or, you got to borrow somebody's, whatever. And when you got friends across the country and they're just on different consoles, you disconnect it. And so the idea came about is, how do we have a football league where you can connect everybody that loves football, everybody that loves football video games? How do you have a league where, you can involve everybody? And so that idea started because of Backbreaker, coming out as this new football video game. And there was a lot of excitement around the fact that Backbreaker could be, revolutionary. It could take down Madden, all that stuff that was going on at that time. So in January of 2010, I brought the idea to the people on the Backbreaker forums, and everyone was super excited about that. And when Backbreaker was at its height of popularity before release, there were tons of people who wanted to. In fact, I'm not gonna lie, we had 56 teams ready to go in that league, and obviously, we learned from our mistakes, and Backbreaker kind of burned our bridge because, as everybody knows, it was a disappointment and a letdown. So it all started there, and after, hold on just a second, I got a co-host too, big old train in my ear. Give me a minute.
It's all good. Live radio.
So I know all about live stuff. So as a commissioner trying to find what worked in this league, we went through a lot of trial and error, and we settled on in 2011 switching over to NCAA football and using, as you guys were talking about before I called in, using Team Builder to create this and bring it to life. It didn't work out. It wasn't great as it could be because EA Sports AI VAI product is suspect at best. I mean, we had to try hundreds of slider settings to try to even make the game in a way that things felt cheesy or unrealistic in terms of the football product. So we go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said, please repeat that one more time about the AI.
It's suspect at best. It's not very good. So after a couple of successful seasons with NCAA, I wouldn't call them a success from a fan standpoint, but from a league standpoint, we kind of figured out what worked for us. And our first broadcast was a webcam pointed at my television, and the webcam sat on a toilet paper roll. So that tells you how far we've come in 4 years. So after we got off NCAA and decided to scale down our league and really focus on the details and get on All Pro football, it really just kind of took off, and we got we got in touch with casual adult gamers, or actually they got in touch with us because their commissioner found our broadcast and loved every minute of it, and really connected us with the 2K All Pro football community in a way that we had not been connected before. And ever since then, we've just been flying under the radar. And I just kept telling my deputy commissioner and the members of the league, I just kept telling them, I said, people will find us. People will find us, and we'll be fine, because all we got to do is put a great product out there, and I know people will latch on and believe it. So that's how long we've been around. We had 2 successful seasons of the World American Football League, which is what we used to be called. This is our 4th season of the Simulation Football League. We've crowned 3 champions, and our 5th season, which is going to be something special with a couple of pluses on board for that. We'll start this summer.
Got any questions for him, Smitty? AZ?
As far as, cause I've been checking it out every here and there. Like, I really didn't know what the difference was between the 2 leagues, because I would see SFL, I would see a SFL video, and then I would see a promo that was part of the CAG league.
Uh-huh.
So it's like, I really couldn't tell, because I didn't see I would see some gameplays that would just be shortened versions, just highlight reels. But then there would be some games that were out there, but I never seen any of your live streams. initially. Like not till as of recently, I've seen your live stream. Usually, I would just catch like maybe a game that would be showing on YouTube from one of your recordings. But as far as questions, actually, you did answer my questions already, because when I was seeing the gameplay, I was curious if it was CPU versus CPU, because I figure it'd be extremely hard if that was a view you could play it in that kind of side view like that, that broadcast kind of camera angle there. But that's what I was curious about. Like, well, actually, this is what I'm curious. What would it be like? I know you have the information on the website, but like, what would rule for somebody to have a team become part of the league?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
Sure. No, I'm saying what would it take for somebody to have their team that they want to audition, so to speak, to become part of the league? Like, what would it take for that team to be a part of the league?
Well, right now, we're owners are going to have a very difficult decision in regards to who we're accepting. We're in a rare expansion period where we're expanding from 8 to 12, and that's difficult. For those of you who have seen the live broadcast, these games, because the simulation football product is so good from All Pro, you can't play 5-minute quarters and expect to get professional football type stats per game. I mean, you got to go all out, and you got to figure out how to accomplish that. So these games are 2 hours long. It's an experience. It's like going to the movies for your football video game mind. I mean, there's only so many games that I can do along with a full-time job per weekend, to where we can keep the league flowing. Because people don't want to hear Dan Stevens and Peter O'Keefe. They've heard them for 7-8 years. They know what they're going to say, and that's what keeps everything fresh, is shutting them off. And so going from 8 to 12 is an adjustment, and we've got a foolproof plan for that. But because there's only 4 spots open, it creates a very competitive marketplace. We've already got twice as many applicants for teams as we do spots. I wouldn't say that I don't mean to discourage anyone from applying for a team, because basically how to get involved in this league is to just sell yourself and your dedication through following the league, supporting the league, being there on game days, and really, selling the idea that your franchise is going to be a staple of the simulation football league. And I wish I could tell people that they could just shoot me a text and say, "Hey, I want in. When do I start?" I wish it was just that easy. But because of the level of detail, it limits the number of teams, and that makes it that much more difficult to get involved. But I mean, there are other owners who, and there are other applicants as well right now, who are looking for offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, scouts, to review film and get back with them in terms of, what they're seeing out of their next opponent, what defenses are they running, where are the exploits, because we archive all of our games on YouTube in high definition. So members of the league can go back and they can review all of that, and really feel like they're a part of a franchise. So, if signing guys to contracts in the off season and, creating uniforms and all that, if that's not your speed, if you just want to dominate a side of a football, you just get in contact with me and I can hook you up with people who are looking for help. Because sometimes, we got owners that love the off season. They don't much care necessarily for the in season as much, the in season dynamics and schematics. So, there's opportunities, but yeah, it's a challenge to satisfying everybody because of just the way we're set up.
Okay.
All right, this is Azul. I got a two-part question for you. I know you spoke about the AI and Madden, but what is it, you being a simulation guy and, a franchise mode, what is it that you would like to see from Madden franchise-wise to make it more immersive? And then the second part is, what are you expecting from Joe Montana Football 16?
Well, from the Madden part, I'm an NFL guy, and everybody, you get Madden, and then you're pleased you have an NFL game, but then you're somewhat disappointed with the result. And for me, is playing franchise mode in Madden, in many Maddens for many seasons. I think the franchise mode. I think that Madden as a whole, feature-wise, is a pretty good game, but where they have to make the adjustment is that is that gameplay on the field, and it as a sim guy, as a CPU versus CPU, watching All Pro, 3 times a week, totally immersed in what All Pro football is providing me. Madden is not close, and so when I pick up a controller and I play Madden, I don't get that same satisfaction, that same energy behind my quarterback, my receiver down the field, bump and run coverage, offensive line play. It's hard to get excited unless you're talking about playing a buddy or playing your rival. It's hard getting excited for Packers and Panthers in week 6 of franchise mode. And a more direct answer to your question, I think they need to do what 2K did in terms of their NBA game, with connecting storylines through the commentary with updated conference standings, in-game updates on other games, whether it be as a ticker at the bottom of the screen or whether it be during the halftime show. You got to be able to connect the dots in between games. I mean, that's what makes the SFL sharp. Is in week 9 this next week on Sunday, the doubleheader. When Cleveland plays Minneapolis, I can tell you all about what Minneapolis has done over the course of this season. I can tell you what they're averaging on offense. I can tell you, who's the top tackler on Honolulu. I can tell you all that because we connect the dots. And there are sports games out there that well, and Madden doesn't do that at all. Just feels like I'm playing another game, another regular Madden game. So to the Madden question, I think that's what they need, because otherwise it just feels standard. And then the second part question about Joe Montana, with us getting so hyped up about Backbreaker, I have reservations about getting the hopes so high. As far as the screenshot goes and breaking it down, I wasn't blown away by it. It was a tad bit of a letdown, but I don't know what that game looks like. I don't know how far along that screenshot was in development. I'm trying to reserve some judgment, but trying not to get my hopes up as well. So as far as what I look from it, I just wanted to have great gameplay. I want to be excited when I throw a touchdown pass. I want to feel like I earned it. I want to feel the hits. I want it to play realistically. If it gives great gameplay and it gives me the ability either to play with the Packers or to build the Packers or to build something, as long as it gives me those two things, and even a season mode that connected the dots. Although for me, my expectations are pretty low. Those two things, I'm getting that game. And as you guys were talking about in the first 30 minutes, as far as us being in the minority, and I would get that console too, whatever game it came out on, because I haven't had great gameplay, gameplay perfected in years and years and years. And thankfully, I have the SFL to remind me that it's possible every day.
Man, there's a couple things you said there. I just wanted to comment on it. The first one is, man, I feel exactly the way you do about what you said about the screenshot. I mean, it's like, haven't we been down this road before? Like, let's just wait until we see the game, and then we can make a fair assessment. Just like you said about backbreaking. I think all of us were a little let down by what the actual finished product was. I think we were just caught up in the hype of the physics, which was good. Like, when you really broke that game down in terms of what the things that it lacked, you know, who knows? It could be the same situation again. So let's not get too excited. Let's just wait. You know, we got time. Let's just wait to see what they're going to offer. But the second thing you said there, and I am in full agreement with you, is like just feeling like you're involved in the game, man. Like, one thing that all pro football does in the passing game that I've always loved is, first of all, the maximum passing. You can place that ball where you want it to go. But I love, like, when you throw like that deep bomb down the field and the quarterback, you know, the animation where he heaves it. You can tell he's throwing it as far as it can go, and the ball goes way up in the air. That kind of stuff makes you feel like you're in the game. You don't get that from Madden. Now, I played Madden today, and I had a play where my guy runs a post, he beats the safety. It's a 40-yard throw. And I'm using Roethlisberger, not trying to, pump up my skills, but everybody knows he has a cannon arm. He can throw the ball as far as he wants. And I see the spot where I want to throw the ball to. I'm trying to lead him to the back of the end zone, and I just can't get it there. Then instead, they throw it like straight down the field, and then, they allow the DB to make the play on it. And I'm like, see, in All Pro, I could have thrown that ball where I wanted it to go. And he's going to catch it or he's not going to catch it. But those type of things, man, I'm right there with you. It just doesn't feel – you don't get the feeling no more like you once did back in Madden. But who knows, man. I'm right there with you on those points. Smitty, it sounded like you were about to say something.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, and it's basically stemming off of what you guys are saying. You gotta, and this is the point that I say it all the time. Madden is playing from behind. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't. That's one of the main things that get thrown to the wayside, and it gets thrusted up as if it's supposed to be right there. Like, yeah, it should be right there, but the reality is it's not. So, like, the stuff you're saying, Sim, just like we said, Madden back in the day. But, and that's a valid point. Madden back in the day on PS2 and all that stuff, the engine was a different engine, which was scrapped. The engine was scrapped. So now we could skip all that talk. That talk's over. That's gone. You had a new engine that was put in place, and they had to start all over again. You had football guys come in there. That was David Ortiz. He was there for 2 games, Madden 07 and 08, and then he left for whatever reason. Then you had Ian Cummings, and he straight took the game straight down. Now you got Cam Weber and Rex and Clint and these other guys, and they're trying to build it back up. Now, while these guys are being questioned in terms of their ability to do it and all that stuff because the game's not there yet, you also got to remember, look, I can't hold this is the example I used years ago. I can't hold Jim Caldwell accountable for the Lions going 0-16. He wasn't there. So while I can get upset with the Lions organization as a whole, I can't get mad at him because he just got there. Like, he's only put in but so much work. He stepped into a bad situation. Well, Caldwell stepped into a better one, but I would say Schwartz. Schwartz stepped into a horrendous situation that a lot of coaches didn't even want to touch. And he took it and said, you know what, I'm going to take the bull by the horns and I'm going to do what I can do with it. And mind you, he caught a lot of scrutiny while he was coach here. People were saying he needed to be fired year 1. He needed to be fired year 2. Oh, I don't like these moves. And he was making smart moves. but yet he still got, like he still is going to be under that same gun that the Lions ain't went nowhere. So the same rule of thumb is going to apply when we talk about Madden not being where it should have been already. You know what I'm saying? In comparison to 2K and or even Madden of yesteryear. But the key thing here to remember is that Madden has not had consistent lead development until now. And we're having that with Cam Weber, like I was saying. This is Madden's fourth. This will be their fourth game with this team being together with Cam Weber at the helm and having these football guys in place, like the community said needed to happen. But now when you look at on the flip side, and you look at 2K and you wonder why you could still pull up 2K5, why you could still pull up 2K8 and those games still be relevant. It's because those games had several years of consistent core league development. Greg Thomas, which is he's the CEO of a Visual Concept. He was the lead producer over 2K since the very first one, since Dreamcast, since the very first one, all the way through APS. So you got at least at the bare minimum, 6 years of consistent lead development. That's why that product still holds the candle over Madden even right now, because of that. They didn't scrap their engine. They kept the same engine, ported it over, and built up. That's what, now, if EA did the same thing, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now. There probably wouldn't be a CAG League or SFL, because you wouldn't have to, because the game would be good enough. You know what I'm saying? At least we would assume that. But because of those factors, those real-world factors that happen, that's why people are saying, I don't want to suffer 10 years of this and all that. And that's true. I feel that frustration. But we got to also bring these other facts into the picture. They all play a role. That's why people say, like Sim, myself, Azura, we catch negative heat because we're not sitting up here going buck wild and crazy about it, because we understand, we know what the situation is. We understand what the reality of the situation is. We know it sucks, but it's part of the reality. And these guys got to turn the ship around, just like what Rex had said when he called in a few weeks ago. You can't turn an aircraft carrier on a dime. You know what I'm saying? You can't just whip it around and fix it that way. It's going to take these dudes time to get the game there. The frustrating part is exactly that, though, is because of the fact it's going to take these guys time to get the game there, people are going to be upset, and they're going to say that the game ain't doing nothing. That's why Montana is going to get so much love. You're going to have people put their rose-colored shades on and completely ignore the problems. But it's going to have problems and issues and concerns that we're going to have to come out and point out, regardless of how good the game may be. And the same thing got to be done with Madden as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talking about the most simplistic things in Madden need to be done, but that's what we demanded for, though. We were making demands talking about the most simplistic things need to be done in Madden. And now we're making it like it's a complaint in this community, I'm saying. Oh, man, we still talking about pass blocking and running animations and all that. Well, yeah, we talked about that years ago. We said they need to address run animations. They need to address the blocking. They need to address wideout DB interaction, sideline interactivity, crowd noise, commentary. Like, we said all these things. So now that they're addressing these things, now we want to act like, man, they should have been had it. Okay, we said that. It's like a dog chasing his tail to an extent when it comes to some things that are said in the community, and that's why we do what we do. That's why we do this show. That's why we go down to EA and we bring back what we can let you guys know about, because we want you guys to understand whether it's good, bad, happy, or sad. We're not here to make you happy. We're here to tell you what the deal is. You know what I'm saying? Now, you can do what you want with the info, but at the end of the day, we're just going to let you know what it is. And that's all we can do. So, but we know that 2K holds the candle. And you ain't heard any of us ever say that Madden has beat 2K out. When that day happens, I will gladly say it. But until then, 2K still reigns supreme. That's why we love the league that you do.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, man, it's absolutely great work, man, and we appreciate you coming on. And definitely, before you go, I know we're dipping into the second hour and got a few calls in the queue, but before you go, man, definitely say anything else, that you want to say about the league. Please give everyone all of the information where they can find you on YouTube, your Twitch, and all of that. Definitely let us know how we can keep up with the league.
Yeah, I definitely want to plug Sunday's doubleheader. It's going to be a great one. Honolulu and Minneapolis kick things off at 3. Minneapolis is the number one scoring offense in the league. They're undefeated. They average over 50 points a game. They are on a tear. They never run the ball. All Thomas Paternetti does is pass. It's incredible to see, and not many people have been able to stop it. They go to Honolulu, who on paper who has the best secondary in the game. So can they step up to the challenge? We'll have to find out. That's a 3. Also, nobody else knows about this because I just found out about it a couple hours ago. But maybe, and I cannot confirm, so I apologize if I'm hyping it up for nothing. But I'm anticipating having an analyst with me on that broadcast, first time in league history that you'll have play-by-play and analyst commentary for the Simulation Football League. I'm hopeful that I can confirm that with you as early as tomorrow. At 6 o'clock, or an expected kickoff time at 6 o'clock, because everyone has to remember that I got to erase the game and build it all up again in between broadcasts, is our game of the week. Baltimore 5-1 takes on Orlando 3-3. Orlando's 3-0 at home. They average over 50 points a game. They've got the league's top running back. Baltimore's got the league's top defense and the top linebacker right now, Joe Dazzo, who's Dazzo 47 in the CAG League. It should be a great battle. You can watch all the games live on Twitch. It's at twitch.tv/SimulationFL. Everything is SimulationFL for us. So Twitter/SimulationFL, YouTube/SimulationFL, SimulationFL.com is the place you can go if you're interested about becoming an owner, becoming a coach, becoming a YouTube partner. That does exist. You get your YouTube channel information at the bottom of our broadcast. It goes on the ticker. You can send us an email about that. To do that, simulationfl.com. You go to the About SFL section. A drop-down menu will come down, and you can click Get Involved, and there's details about all of that on that page. So I try to do that as quick as possible, but I appreciate you guys having me on. Play-by-play commentary, detailed season stats, custom graphics. We got it all. Come in and check us out, and grab yourself a drink and sit on the couch and have some fun. That's all we ask.
Well, man, we definitely appreciate you calling. We'll go ahead and place you on mute. And, if you feel, if you have the time, feel free to stay on and listen to the rest of the show. But definitely appreciate you calling. And that's what we're all about, man. It's about community involvement and, everyone helping each other, And this proves to you guys, some of you naysayers, how unbiased we really are. I was extremely glad the day I asked to have him come on the show. I was like, why not? We always want to promote these things because, like I said, the only way for us to be effective is for us, 1, to become bigger as a community, and 2, do something that's positive. This SFL is catching some attention. How much, nobody knows, but I'm telling you, it's drawing some attention. They have a good amount of people who are watching the live stream, and this could even bring the attention to 2K. Maybe 2K will see something like this and say, oh, we do still have a following. But that's why it's important to do something constructive if you really want to help these games, come back, or even if you want to force Madden to give us the things that we miss or that we love that 2K has. So shout outs to Cameron and Irvine, man. I definitely appreciate you coming in. So let's go ahead and grab these calls, man. I'm sure we'll go ahead and bring in 757 first, allow him to do his segment. Then after that, looks like we have 4 calls in the queue, and I'll run down the order. After 757, we have 205, 407, 404, and then 240. So let's go ahead and get it started with 757. Got you in live tonight, man. How you doing?
What's going on, soldiers? Man, there's so many thoughts running through my head. First thing, I like to say is we need Joe Montana to do well. Because not for the guys who are developing Madden, for the suits. Until that $2 billion until that $2 billion that they're making from MUT is affected, then as shareholders, as CEO, COO, they're not going to move the needle. Because what they're saying to the developers, our system works. At the end of the day, EA is about making money. Let's not forget what this is. This is a company. And I think that it gets frustrating for us who want a simulation football game or want certain things that should be in the football game that isn't there. I listen to the Padre podcast a lot of times, and it was something that was very unsettling. And what was unsettling was that Madden is held from a different standard of what is simulation, what people don't want to learn in a football game. And I want to throw in the double coverage and the receiver still catch the ball. But in the same token, they turn around and say, I can't remember the name of the golf game and the soccer game. They love the fact that if I'm using the wrong putter, if I'm using the wrong driver, and I'm supposed to put it in 4 and I put it in 7, I understand why and I'm okay with that. And the same thing with the soccer game. Now, they understand FIFA, but that other soccer game that's out, they like the simplicity and how hard the game is to score. And I don't understand that because I don't think people understand how hard it is to play football on a professional level. I think people don't understand that there's systems. For example, I played in a spill system. That means if they're running ISO or they're running an off tackle, the first linebacker to get at the point of attack is the plug guy. The second linebacker is the spill guy. That means he's supposed to make the tackle. And it is based on what the play is that's being ran, and you must memorize what you need to be doing on any given play in milliseconds. And one step wrong to the left or to the right, you're late getting over there. And a lot of times the running back can break a big tackle, you can be out of position, and God forbid if somebody's play action. And I think that in football, people don't want to learn the simplicity that it takes to play football, but they're willing to learn it in other systems, in other games. And I don't understand that. You're okay with the simplicity in other games being hard, but the one game that you really got to play chess, and if one person out of that 11 on offense or 11 on defense is out of position, the play's screwed. Whether it's the defensive end getting hooked or whether it's the corner peeking in the backfield and getting burnt deep. And when those situations happen or don't happen in Madden, you get frustrated. That's the game. We got to be willing to move forward with innovation and be willing to learn something. And I think we're in this society with a lot of people who are not simulation ball players that want a reward for not putting in the work. And they've been spoiled that way. Madden has done that to a certain degree. They've allowed us to get away with BS and play still work. It happens all the time. We need Joe Montana to work. We need for that game to be a great game. Because it's not so much about EA versus everybody else. It's really about Microsoft versus PlayStation. Microsoft needs a game. They need something that is an exclusive that they can make people buy more Xbox One for, which everybody is saying they're going to do if the game is good. And if that is what Joe Montana is putting out, and the game is what it's supposed to be, then EA has no choice but to say, all right, developers, do what you got to do because our bottom line is being affected. Like I said, there's so many thoughts running through my head with the Joe Montana thing. I'm not falling for anything until I see what this gameplay is. Again, I've always said this thing. For a long time, Lucy has been EA or whatever football game, whether it was backbrick or whatever, holding the football. And I'm tired of running up to go to kick it, and Lucy pulls it from an ID, and we're going to fall on her back. We're not falling for that anymore. We'll make a sound assessment of what this game is once we see it. But we need it to do well. We need it to do well in order for us to get what we need to get out of Madden. And until that bottom line is affected, I'm nervous about what we're going to get. Because I believe that you guys know that developers want to do more, but they look you guys in the eyes when you guys are one-on-one conversation and say we can't do it, or we can't fit it in, or we don't have enough time, or they just don't want us to make the game that hard. They want to make the game, whether it's my 7-year-old son playing it or a 47-year-old man, to be able to enjoy the game. And it's almost impossible. It's impossible for us or me to enjoy it the same way he wants to. Because he wants to score. He wants to think that he's better than what he really is. And once I crank it up on All Pro, All Madden, he realizes he got some work to do when he gets agitated. But what I teach him is you have to learn it. The same way that we went from PlayStation 1 to 2 to 3 and now to 4. Be willing to put in a little work in order to get what we need to get out of it. But my concern is, will we ever get what we really want if Joe Montana isn't what it's supposed to be, or the more populous of the community doesn't really want it? That's my frustration. Because I like Madden. I think that they made improvements in what has been prior to. Now, what I am very interested in is what this engine would do for Joe Montana if it's good. If Joe Montana winds up being an unbelievable game and everything looks realistic and a 235-pound running back coming around the corner and a 170 or 80-pound defensive back get his butt ran over like he's supposed to, and then this engine's been out there, and Madden, EA much rather create their own instead of buying something that somebody appears to have that already works and bring it in systems, I'm going to question their innovation. I'm going to question, what are you guys really doing with all this money that we're spending? That's what I want to know. Yeah, I know you got NBA Live. I know you got these other games that you're trying to create, but this is $2 billion. So somebody either staying in an unbelievably big-ass house, or y'all just are not putting forth the effort that you're supposed to be with your number one game, which is the number one sport in the country. Guys, I appreciate your time. I am eager to see what is the next step in this whole football innovation. I've been watching this thing since the beginning, and I know it's not easy. I know it's not easy creating a game. I know it's not easy understanding when a linebacker is supposed to attack half a man and he attacks the full man. I understand when you got a 99 awareness on a linebacker and they run a screen, his ass don't move. And he's supposed to snuff that out. So I understand the frustrations of defensive ends getting hooked when they're not supposed to, or the rollouts of the quarterback when he's supposed to be contained. You should hit him in the mouth. He can't get out. He can't outrun that DN if he's standing there. I get it. But my whole thing is, EA, what if Joe is what everybody is saying? What if Joe Montana is a good football game? Our question would be to you in the last these 3 years that y'all have had, what the hell y'all really been doing? And if it's not the developers, then we need to start putting our energy towards the suits and say, man, y'all stop effing around and give us what we really want. Or we'll leave all of y'all and we will go to Joe Montana. Even if the game does not have the logos in the NFL. Because if we really want football experience and simulation football, do we really give a fuck what the logo is? I don't. I want to play simulation football. So what? It's not a 49ers on there. I make the helmet gold and put some other logo on there. Fellas, I appreciate the time. Y'all keep pounding the pavement of what we want. We don't have a lot of voices out here. that really are able in that room that doesn't have the fear to really say how you feel about what's currently going on with the game. I just hope that if we don't get what we want, that y'all all continue to stay in that room and continue to voice your opinion of how you really feel. Guys, thank you for your time.
Yeah, man, we thank you every week, man, for coming in and giving us that insight. So, yeah, man, we just got to stay on it. And hopefully Joe Montana will be everything it's cracked up to be. So let's go ahead and grab some calls, man. We're dealing with about 39 minutes, so we'll respond to you guys' questions and comments. We'll try to keep it brief in case we get more calls. Right now, it looks like we just have 205-240 and 407. And 407 called back, so you'll be right after 205, and then we'll get 240. And you guys know the routine. We'll go around the panel. Smitty will respond first. Azul will respond to 407. Then I'll respond to 240. All right, so 205, we got you in. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How are y'all guys?
Good, man. Can't complain.
What's up?
All right. To get on the Joe Montana thing, I was watching the videos after the screenshot was put out. I saw yesterday where BF had put his video out that was about 50 minutes long with a panel of guys that is on PC. Nothing against VF. I'm not attacking him or his video or anything like that. I just have some disagreements with that video. And the reason why I disagree with that video is a few reasons. I honestly don't feel like the PC community is a sports community. I feel like for football, it's been basically on console. I don't feel like there is a driving force for a PC community to be a football game on there. Honestly, I don't feel like football is very popular on a PC platform. And the reason why I feel that way, I feel that first-person shooters or basically adventure games or Grand Theft Auto 5 or something that they mod a lot. I understand that NBA 2K15 is on there and, other basketball games. And I know people's are modded for Madden. But I don't feel like sports is basically a driving force on the PC platform. I feel like it's more of a driving force on console. Also feel that if you do have this game, it needs to come out on all consoles. Not just the Xbox. I don't honestly feel like people's going to go out there and spend $400 for an Xbox and then buy a game that's going to cost them probably $65. It does need to be totally customizable. I don't think you can mod on a console, but I think you need to have a tool on there where you can customize it if it doesn't have the NFL license. The NFL license is a very big deal to me, honestly, because the NFL license is going to drive your game. And the reason why I say that is because Madden is all about marketing themselves. They're going to market themselves out the yin. So if you have a game that isn't with the NFL, how are you going to beat Madden? Because it's on NFL Network, it's on ESPN, it's all through the draft, it's all these things that it's marketed for. And it's marketed for 3 to 4 months. And then it's built even higher. Then you have ESPN in the magazine. There's so many aspects of what Madden does that people are losing. They're going to outsell Joe Montana no matter what, even if they had the NFL license, because Joe Montana isn't been around in years. It hasn't been around since like 95 was the last Joe Montana. That's been more than 20 years ago. That's been longer off than 2K5. So, that's just how I feel. I'm not trying to put dampers or negative aspects or spins on there. I'm just trying to be realistic, and that's how I feel. They need the license. They need to be able to be on all platforms so that they can build themselves, because at the end of the day, it's all about money. Joe Montana is a great thing to have as a name and a legend, but money's everything. And that's how I feel. That's just my passion about how I feel about football. Maybe I'm wrong. Y'all have a great night.
All right. Well, no, I definitely you're not wrong in that regard. That's what I was saying earlier on in the show. So, mean, that just to reiterate it real quickly here, PC gaming is predominantly for RPGs, first-person shooters, strategy games, free-to-play little pick-up-and-play games, and sports games are at the bottom of the barrel. They're not thriving. If you go on the Twitch right now and you watch and you look at the list of games that are primarily shown, you see the only game that would be on PC that's a sports game that'll be in the main featured list would be FIFA. If it actually is on PC that's being shown. So that's what I'm saying. Like, what you said is spot on, because mainly people are playing fighting games, shooters, racing games. While like the PC gaming is expanding, but it's expanding because of League of Legends and World of Warcraft. You know, League of Legends back in 2011. Just to make this real quick, they eclipsed World of Warcraft in terms of active subscribers. They have 11, and mind you, this is 2011. I saw this earlier today. They have 11 million active subscribers on the game. That's 2011. That game is played heavily right now. So just think how many active subscribers there are for that game. That's why PC gaming is so strong right now, because of those kind of games. And the last example here before we go up to the next one, Skyrim. That was an example that was brought up in that conversation. Skyrim sold over 20 million copies. They sold at least 4 of those 20 million on PC. The rest of them were primarily sold on Xbox 360 and PS3. So that's one thing. The game needs to be on console, because that's where the bulk of your sales are going to come from. Secondly, when you talk about modding games like that, of course that modding scene is going to be huge, because once again, it's a role-playing game. And it's a highly immersive role-playing game. We're not talking about a football game where it's 4 downs and that's it. No. There's only so much immersion, and there's a cap on it with football. That's why I said, that's like you said, 205, that community is small. That's a minority. We as a Sim community, we acknowledge we're a smaller community. We have the strongest voice, in my opinion, but we're the smallest community. It's even smaller on PC. So let alone, like I said before, how many people are going to invest the $500-600, $500 to $700 at least, to go ahead and get a gaming PC that's going to adequately run this game at its optimal performance? So it's a lot of gray area with that right now. But I'm glad you made that point, though, and I feel you all the way. It's not hate; it's just part of the reality of the situation. So thank you for the call, though, 205.
Yeah, man, definitely. Thank you for the call. Like always, let's go ahead and get 407 in. We got you in live on the show. How you doing tonight?
What's up, guys? I'm White Kia. How you doing?
Oh,
what's up, Kia?
Not much, man. For guys who are on the EA payroll, you ain't doing a very good job.
Yeah, we're going to get fired tomorrow. I ain't even going to go in the office.
Oh, man. But, yeah, I love the perspective that 757 gives. He actually stole quite a bit of my thunder. One of the things I wanted to hit on outside of the Joe Montana issue is what he spoke about, and that is, if I could implore you guys to do just one thing, that would be to get the developers to stop bailing out these knuckleheads who don't know what they're doing. I'll give you a couple of examples. One, when the game first came out, I was playing online. I go online because online will tell you what's wrong with the game, what people are looking to exploit, and where the AI is weak. And I was playing with the Texans, and I was killing people with Clowney and Watt, pitching shutouts. But what happened within 2 weeks? Guys are going to YouTube and saying, oh, the 4-man rush is overpowered. I can't get my plays off. That wasn't the problem. The problem was you were sitting there for 5, 6, 7 seconds waiting for your little money routes to get downfield, and you were getting yourself killed. So what did EA do? They tuned the game. They nerfed the 4-man rush, and there you go. You got to stop, but they got to stop bailing out the knucklehead who just wants to, go out there and do whatever the heck that they want. Also even in leagues, you guys know how I roll. There's no cheese in my game at all. I just play straight up football. And people get frustrated when they don't understand why something's happening to them. And either they take it out on the guy who's doing it or on the game. No, you have to step your own knowledge up of the sport and step your own game up. Don't look for the game to bail you out. That's one thing I hope that you guys can, press upon the developers. And also, as far as Joe Montana goes, the thing that I observe, I don't really comment on these kind of things. I'm like you, SimFBall. I just kind of observe how people, behave. What I feel happens is that people's hope for the game is kind of clouding their reason. The game is going to have an uphill fight with adolescents. We all know that. I mean, we don't have to go too far into history to, remember how APF and Backbreaker struggled. It's going to have an uphill fight with that, on its own. But the big thing is, it's going to be how the game plays. For me, I'm not making any decision yay or nay or saying anything, bad or good until I see how the game plays. If the game plays well, I'll give it a shot. If not, then I'll stick with Madden 16. But, people need to be consistent as far as the standard that they put towards these games. Just because you're frustrated with Madden doesn't mean that that it's right to give Montana a free pass or hold them up to less of a standard. No, be consistent with that. If the game isn't good, point out why it isn't good or not meeting expectations. If the game is good, great, knock yourself out. That's really all I have to say. You guys do a great job. Talk to you all later. Peace.
Appreciate that. And NYK, I wish you would actually call the show as much as 757 does, because I think you have a lot to say as well. And y'all are kind of in the same vein, so to speak. So in terms of football knowledge and whatnot. So if you could, man, I know your schedule is busy, but call in more. But I agree with what you're saying, especially with Madden keeping the training wheels on for people. That's what we say a lot of times. Take the training wheels off and let people play. Because in my opinion, what we played last year, the passing game at Community Day, was better than what we got at retail. It was somewhat nerfed. The inaccuracies were nerfed because people thought the game was broken. And like 757 said, they have to fix the game to where somebody who's 7 can play it as well as somebody who's 70. And that's the problem. That's why he makes the point of Joe Montana needs to be good on the field. And I hope it is, because that will force the suits to say, yo, this game just came out. Why does it have better gameplay in certain areas than we do? Let's address that. Let's step up the ante and make our gameplay compete with theirs or even better. We saw it with Backbreaker. The gameplay wasn't better, but it forced Madden to think about physics when we previously had Ian Cummings saying that physics wouldn't work in Madden. So, we're at the point now to where that's why I think competition is good, but it has to be the right competition. It can't be on mobile, can't be on just PC, can't be on just Xbox. It needs to be flat-out competition, direct competition, so that Madden, like you said, the suits are forced to make the decision, because we sit with the developers and we hear their ideas and all this kind of stuff, but, you have to relegate man hours, power, money, allocation, time, and all this kind of stuff into making these things great. And we kind of understand that to where the public doesn't, but I'm in full agreement, because if you're getting rushed, use screens or quick passes. If you can't just sit back there 5-6 seconds and think that you're just gonna, get a playoff and be successful, because as they move more towards simulation, that's not what the NFL does. You're not sitting back there 5 and 6 seconds in the pocket, unless you just have a tremendous O-line or you can maneuver in the pocket well and climb the pocket. And most people don't know how to climb the pocket. They either go out to the left and run into a defensive end, or, run around and try to throw the ball, erroneously, and end up throwing a pick and getting mad at the game. That's not the game. That's you. So I get upset when I lose to Madden, and I'm using quotation marks. I hate losing to Madden because I feel like strategically I'm going to do something in the game that's going to give me an advantage. And when Madden takes that advantage away, no matter what it is, whether it's, my defensive line, my linebacker, rushing linebacker runs into my defensive tackle and trips and falls. And yes, that can happen in real life, but come on now. You don't see it as frequently as you do in Madden. And so, or it's 4th and inches and my running back runs into the back of my offensive lineman like he has a dime for a brain. So, it's work to be done. So, but I appreciate the call, man. I wish you'd call in more, and we'll move on.
Yeah, man. Definitely wish you could call a little more, man. That perspective. We always love those level-headed comments. So let's go ahead and move on, man. We got 3 calls in the queue, 23 minutes, so we'll try to keep everything as short as possible, but not, cutting down on your questions. So let's go ahead and get 240 in. Got you in live on the show, man. How you doing tonight?
Good evening, gentlemen. This is Dark Lord Destro.
What's up, man? What's going on?
Oh, nothing. First of all, I want to thank you, gentlemen, for having Cameron Irvine on the show. I really appreciate you giving him, your precious time to have him showcase SFL, and I appreciate that to the fullest. I also want to put it out there that I'm one of those people who are trying to get a team franchise for that in that league for next season. I've already, came up with the name. It's going to be called the DC Dragons. I'm from the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. Although I live in Pennsylvania, I still got to rep that area. The DMV is what they call it. But anyhow, it's I call it DC Dragons. Their colors, they're from they basically replicate the Washington Wizards. And I made a video so far. I'm about to do some other things, do a little bit different than, I'm trying to be, trying to sell myself, trying to be a little better than than the other guys who have applied. And so I was let everyone know that's why I had the pound sign on Twitter. I put a pound sign bring SFL to DC because, like I said, I'm trying to get one of those teams. Now, as for Joe Montana football, I'm one of those guys to where I'm not getting hyped up. And it's not because of backbreak or anything. It's just I'm the type of person, I need to see motion. I need to see a video. I need to see a man with the sticks in his hand and controlling it. Until then, that picture could be photoshopped as far as I'm concerned. I'm not going to call it a hoax. I believe it's going down. I believe it's real, but I'm not going to get my hopes high. But when it comes to Joe Montana, is that, 2 things. One, is that if it has an NFL license, that'll be great. I think it'll definitely be a plus. 2, if it doesn't, it will hurt some. But, if it was fully customizable, I know myself, I will be gracious with that. I will love that. And because how I do Evolve Pro, I get into the nitty gritty, roll the sleeves up, and I'll treat the hell out of it. But, if it is customizable and it's doesn't have an NFL license, I think that this is where the sim community need to get together, meaning, have ranks, y'all 2 or 3, y'all in charge of designing logos. Y'all 2 or 3, y'all designing doing rosters. Have an organization to this thing to where not everyone's doing their own thing. Just have it all together and have someone delegate all this stuff to everyone so that we can all have a game that we want. And so, I don't, like I said, I don't know what you guys think about that, but that's pretty much all I have to say. And thanks again for taking my call, and thanks again for having Cameron Irvine on the show.
Yeah, man, we definitely appreciate you calling, and you're definitely welcome, man. As soon as you mentioned that to me, it was a no-brainer to get him on the show. I know, like you said, you do a lot with APF, so we, shout outs to all of you guys, man. It's definitely greatly appreciated on behalf of us being sim football, community members. This is what it's all about. I love, when I first found out when you was doing your thing, I loved it. I was like, oh, he's still doing rosters. That's what I'm talking about, man. That kind of involvement. And real quick before we move to the next call, I will say this. You made a key point. If this game is not licensed. Sim community, it's going to be heavily our responsibility to do what we can to keep the life of that game going because, like everyone has said here on the show, it's all about money. And if it's not a licensed game, it's going to hurt them greatly because the masses, not us, but the masses will not pay attention to the game. Now, we will enjoy it because that'll give us another APF to kick around, another backbreaker to play, in terms of customization and us doing our videos. And who knows? Maybe our YouTube videos will go crazy and somebody will see it. Who knows? But outside of us, we're going to have to do our part because outside of us, not everybody will know about that game if it's not NFL. And we all know how business is. If you can't turn a profit, you're not going to be in business long. So great point there by Destro. So I definitely agree with that. All right, so moving on to the next caller, 404. And after that, 337. So 404, Smitty will give you your reply, and AZ will reply to 337. 404, we got you on live, man. How you doing? Hello, 404. 404, you there?
I guess not.
404 has disconnected, so we're going to bring 337 in, and Smitty will give you your reply. 337, man, what's going on with you tonight?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What's up, man?
What's going on?
What's up, man? Okay, first of all, I have to talk about this Joe Montana and what they're doing to advertise, or I don't know what they're doing, but if you can have the NFL, I don't see why you didn't put that in your screenshot. I mean, if you got an M16, why are you shooting a deuce? It just doesn't make sense to me. So my thing is they're probably not just going to be on Xbox. They're probably trying to go multi-plat because nothing's really confirmed yet. So, you think the post that they said it was going to be on Xbox One and PC, but from what it looks like, they probably try to go multi-plat to try to compete with Madden on both platforms, and it's probably not going to have the license. That's just my take on the screenshot. Now, the thing about the community is that you got two types of people now. You got people that want Madden to make a better game, and you got people that gave up on Madden and want another football game to make a better game. I think I fall in that place. I want to see Madden do a better game. And the fact that Joe Montana is coming out, it makes me want to go over to that side just to play something new. So my thing is I'm probably going to get both games regardless. But I'm just saying, if you could tell me, like, what side do you think you fall on? Like, you want Madden to make a better game? I know you guys are probably like, whoever makes a better game, that's what I'm going with. So it's all about simulation for me. So whoever's the most sim, that's what I'm going for. So you could just tell me what you think about that. I'll take you guys later. This Rags Live.
I mean, the way I feel about it is that, I want two great games. I mean, I've been seeing it for the longest amount of time. I wish there were 3 games out there, 3 or 4 games. Like, I want there to be multiple competitors, because the more they compete, we win. That's why having, the NBA or the NFL right now. The NFL's got 30 teams. You know what I'm saying? It would kind of suck if the NFL only had like 2 teams that had to compete against each other. You see what I'm saying? It would get very predictable, very stale. But it's different when you have other games that are in the pot. Because even if you have a game that may not sell nearly as well, and I'm talking about back in the days gaming now, like on the Sega Genesis and Nintendo days, Super Nintendo days, you had years, like I said, it wasn't consistent, but you had occasional years where you had 4 or 5 football games out. Now, some of them may have been arcaded. Some of them may have been more towards authenticity. But the bottom line is you had the competition out there to push. You know what I'm saying? Because they're all under the same umbrella. They all trying to get sales for their company. So one game is going to have to stand out over the other. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it used to be. So I don't want it to be one title, because then that title is going to get stale. Like, it's never good just to have one product. You know what I mean? You always want to have multiple products out here if possible, because that, you know, that's going to help push to get the best product available. That doesn't mean that it's going to come sooner, and that's in the regards of Madden. But the work they put in on the game could be done a lot tighter. I believe that, because the key thing is, like I said earlier, this game is playing from behind. It's not in the forefront right now. It's playing from behind. So
yeah, man. Agree with everything Smitty said, man. I see 404 has come back, so we're gonna get you in, man. Looks like we definitely have time. We have about 13 minutes, so let's go ahead and bring you back in. And yeah, we agree with what Smitty said, man. More than one game is always the objective. All right, 404, we got you in live. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, man?
It's a whole just to reply to Smitty, and as far as the whole computer PC gamers and everything. I own a PC. I'm a PC gamer technically, and I would play a football game if there was one made available. The last one was Madden 08, and even till today, there's still a modding community for Madden 08 to update it to current rosters. So we really don't know how the PC community is going to act towards a football game, because there hasn't been one in so long. Excuse me. But also, there's already a base for it. Like, I don't think people are gonna, go out in droves and buy a $700 PC just for a football game. But there's already, millions of people who already own a gaming PC that may or may not want to get this game. So it's not there. There has to be a brand new market created to, support a new PC game. But the same thing with it. I mean, if it is a Microsoft exclusive, I would assume that would be a good thing for a new IP, because of the fact that Microsoft is going to promote the hell out of it on the PC side and on the Xbox side. So an exclusive, if it is exclusive, might actually help Joe Montana football reach more viewers because of the fact that they're going to get the marketing money that they need to market a game of that nature. It's just like something like Titanfall, a new IP, going up against, the Call of Duties and the Battlefield. It sold well for a new IP because of the fact that it was an exclusive that was marketed. People aren't, I don't think a bunch of people are going to trade in the PS4s for Xbox One, but there's tens of millions of people who haven't upgraded from their Xbox 360s to an Xbox One. So if anything, they'll be the ones that are being targeted to trade in their Xbox 360s and get a bundle where they get the game and get the system. So, I mean, you don't have to really reinvent the wheel. People don't have to go out and buy new PCs. I mean, it's going to be unfortunate for the people who are left out of the loop, but it's going to be tens of millions of people who are potential customers for this game if it's actually good. And also if it's marketed by Microsoft, who, if it is a exclusive, they're going to market hell out of it. But I just that part, it's just, I don't think there's really too much of people don't have to go out and buy $700 PCs to play a football game, because there's already enough of a market out there. You don't have to, the whole idea of a PC gamers that have those GTX Titan graphics cards, that's a small percentage. Most people are fine playing at 720p medium settings, or 1080p medium settings. So I mean, there's no, people aren't gonna go break their wallet to play a football game on high settings. If you could play it on, if you already have a $400 or $500 PC that could run a game on medium settings, there's really no need to upgrade. You already have everything you need. So I mean, just as a market in itself, there is a market for it, and it hasn't been touched in years, because the last football game was Madden 08 on a PC. So it technically has a chance, if it is a PC game and it's an Xbox game, it has a chance to do well because of the fact that it hasn't been these are untouched territories in a really long time. So it might do well, is all I'm saying. So I don't think we should discount it and say, well, there's no really market in, PC gamers and sports, because we really don't know. besides FIFA, it's really untouched territory. So I'm hoping to do well. I haven't really, seen much information. I'm hoping to get more information eventually, but I'm hoping it'll do well. And there's a market for it. That's all I'm saying. But that's all I had. Appreciate it, guys.
Appreciate the call, and I'm gonna pass it to Smitty after I say a little something, because that's more of what he touched on. But I think we need more details and more information first before we can say what it is. Because if Microsoft is backing it and they do have a NFL loop to it, then of course, hey, it could potentially do even better than what we're expecting it. But it all depends on how the game is marketed, and we don't know that yet. That's why I say I'm just pleased with the amount of information that we have so far, so little information. So maybe it's because, they're still ironing out details and they can't release anything yet until it's been confirmed, or, details have been worked out with certain, red tape or whatever. But I think what you said is valid, that there are numbers in PC, but I would much rather be cross-platform and be able to play against people on PC, Xbox One, PS4, etc. But I'll pass it to Smitty and see what he has to say on this as well.
All right. Well, he does make a valid point. You can play a game on mid-level setting, and you can get good gameplay quality out of it. You can do that. That's not too far-fetched. But at the same time, though, how many people would want to do that? That's one thing. Yes, you have a good number of people that are playing PC gaming right now, or that already own a gaming PC. How many of those people are currently playing these PC sports games? Like I said, the Madden crowd is small. That Madden 08 crowd is small. The NBA 2K, the majority of those sales they have, console, not PC. So when you're talking about having a football game that's going to come out on that platform now, will it do well on PC? Yeah, it will. It will. We just don't know what kind of numbers it's going to do. But the problem still remains. You're talking about a platform where the majority is not there. World of Warcraft and League of Legends and all that stuff, those kind of games where the majority of people are, those are paid subscription games. You know what I'm saying? So these people have real nice computers, and they're not about to say, I'm going to put down League of Legends so I can play this football game. They're not going to do that. So, you'll have some just for a change of pace. But but that's where the difference comes in when you're on console. Console, you have focused markets in terms of games. Sports games, you got your millions. Like FIFA sells way many more millions of copies on console than it does PC. Same thing with PES. It's the same deal. NBA 2K, it scrapes the bottom of the barrel when it comes to PC game sales. Because if you remember, just 2 years ago, well, I would say before this year, they didn't even pay attention to updating the game. They will put out the first game. They'll put out the first update for NBA 2K in December. The very first update. After on consoles, it will be on its third one. Like they did not pay much attention to the PC gaming portion of this title. That's why the modding scene got real strong on it, because there was such lack of attention by 2K on it in that regard. So, I definitely understand what my man's point is, though. Like, you can get a decent mid-level PC and run this game, but how many people are willing to do that? Because we got to remember, this community has made a huge fuss about spending $65. Now you're talking about people spending $465. So are they going to be okay with doing that for a game that may not even be NFL licensed? And on top of that, you're waiting for somebody else's mod. So you're waiting for another community member to do something to the game in order for it to be pleasing to you to want to drop down the money and make the investment. So, that's why I say there's a lot of factors to throw into this. that's why, to make it easier, they need to just come out and have this game come out on all gaming platforms like PC, PS4, Xbox One. It needs to drop on all those platforms. That's the only way that you're really going to satisfy the crowds all the way around. And then you'll truly see that it wouldn't shock me in the least bit that PC ends up being dead last in sales versus PS4 and Xbox One in terms of the sales, because that's where the bulk of your audience is. But we'll see. We'll see. You know, it's inevitable. We're going to find out in the next few months. We'll know what the deal is. So.
Yeah, man. The key thing you said, man, was the truth is, and you know, and I haven't really said it, man, since we've been talking about it, but to be honest with you, and this could just be my opinion, I have no way of knowing if it's true. This is just how I feel. If this game, but two factors. If this game is not NFL licensed and it does not come out on all platforms, this game has no chance to succeed long term. It doesn't have a chance. I can confidently say that knowing what I know about Madden and what they're trying to do, and I'll even give you a little more. Let's say competition does come into the fold. And like we've been telling y'all for the longest time now, let's say the suits be like, you know what? All right, let's fully open these budgets. Let's do everything we got to do. You guys, yeah, go do that. That idea that you had last year, go ahead and do that. We're gonna pay for you to do that. We're telling you right now, if things were different, and then again, I can't get into percentages and all that because I don't know. But it's just like any other job. They have ideas. They have to be approved. Somebody has to decide how much money they can allocate and how much man hours, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm telling you right now, there's some valuable competition. And that budget is opened up or whatever, you know, they need to do. You're going to see just as good again. We're trying to get y'all to understand that. It's not like this game is just going to knock Madden out the box. This game will probably, even if it's what dude said on OS, it will have some great things and we will all enjoy it. But do you really think that EA will allow, like, I know some people can say, well, they should have been done that. I agree. But do you really think they would just sit back? So the only hope that this game has to succeed long term is that they have an NFL license which attracts people and is on all platforms. The worst thing they could do is just be a random Joe Montana game, unlicensed, and only on PC and Xbox One. The worst thing they could ever do. That game must be available on every platform in order to compete a little bit. And, you know, as much as some people may disagree with me, that NFL license is a huge factor. Because you got to think, guys, outside of our community, which is small, those people won't give two, you know what, if this game doesn't say NFL. It's the equivalent of, remember at the Super Bowl when people was like, who is Missy Elliott? That's the same thing that's going to happen with Joe Montana. Some people would say, who's Joe Montana? Those people ain't buying that game. Those people, they buy Madden. There's a young guy that was at one of the community events. He knows what I'm talking about. That's a mutt guy. He was, what, 13, 14, whatever old he was? Mm-hmm. You think he buying Joe Montana? No. I'm just trying to put it in perspective, folks. So maybe we'll pick back up on this next week, man. We got 20 seconds left. So Smitty and AZ, y'all got anything quick before we wrap up?
Thanks for everybody that called and listened in. You know, tune into the SFL. You know, like what my man was talking about, definitely check it out. So much appreciated, though, like always.
Yep, and that's going to do it for us, man. I think we ran out of time, so we're going to go ahead and sign off. We'll be back next week. Peace.
Don't forget, guys, every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, Sim Standard Radio. If you want to reach us, you can give us a call at 914-338-0794. For more content, click the link above.